G'day there. So you bought your miter saw, sliding compound miter saw or radial arm saw, but for whatever reason you haven't got the one with the laser beam attached to it. Now I'm not one to judge because I did the exact same thing, but later on I thought, you know what could make more accurate cuts? Laser beams. They create a straight line of pure light at the speed of light. You can't beat that for accuracy. So what are you going to do? You're not going to sell your saw and buy the same one with the laser beam attached to it, are you? So what you can do though is buy an aftermarket kit. This one here is the Laser Kerf 2. Cuts down, it shows a laser beam the width of your kerf, and I'll show you how I attached mine and get some laser beam accurate cuts. Hey, so this is a little video on the Laser Kerf 2, what comes in with the kit and hopefully how to install it properly. I'll be installing it on a Makita LS1216. So inside the box you're presented with your invoice, installation guide, AC adapter with American plug, little CD, DVD. The laser itself has a rotating clockwise on-off switch. So 1 click to on, 2 clicks to off, and repeat. You have the battery pack, which accepts AA batteries, 2 of them, does not come with batteries. Cable ties, other little bits and pieces. Your little block that you're going to, stick it up onto your miter saw or your radial arm. And these little chewy bits, which probably don't taste so good, so don't chuck them in your mouth. To actually connect the laser and start it up, at least here in Australia, the only real option is you've got the battery pack to connect it into. Is you'll see you've got these little female and male connectors. Just simply slot it in there, make sure you've got a battery that works in here. And it's an actual laser, so don't stick this in your eye and turn it on. It will eventually blind you. I don't think it'll blind you straight away, but they're saying it's a class 3A laser, so you can import it into Australia, so that's not a problem, so it must not be too bad. And as I said, just with this little one to turn it on, one to turn it off. Simple as that, and you just keep on clicking it the same way. There's no back switch. So just like that. The actual laser itself is housed in here, and you've got this little nut on this side which moves the laser from left to right, and so I guess once you've installed it you can adjust it, micro adjust it I guess you could say, to left or right to wherever your actual blade kerf is based on the current blade that you've got, whether or not you've misaligned it slightly and it needs to be adjusted. So before you get too happy to attach your laser kerf to your miter saw, in my case, make sure you clean the area that it's actually going to go onto. So the area that you're going to install it onto is actually this bit just back here. See if I can zoom in on that. Is just once it's all been pushed out, you actually just want it to be just behind your the back fence here. There's, especially in the Makita at least, there's a nice flat spot for it to go, and that's going to prevent it from getting hit by any wood, any timber that you're using, and just give you a nice clean line the whole time. So you need to make sure that you clean it with methylated spirits. Give it a good wipe down, if you can open up the bottle of course. Make sure that once you do stick it down there, it will stay stuck down there. That's going to give it a nice good clean area to attach onto, and hopefully stay stuck there and not come off while your saw's moving, because it won't survive that. In order to install it, I've actually made a kerf already on another piece of lumber, timber, sorry, and just so I can find exactly where I need to install it so that it's going down in a straight line. I don't want it to be 2 pointing left or 2 pointing right. and I find that if I've already got the kerf there, it's going to go straight down that kerf every time, hopefully, rather than just sort of plugging it in there and sort of hoping that I've got it straight. You know, obviously the longer the kerf is, the more straight, the more you know, straight you're going to get it, basically. So without much further ado, hopefully you'll. I've actually got it plugged straight up now. Unplug the saw before you start doing this again, because you don't want to accidentally chop off your arm. So I've got it pretty much square. If I remove the kerf over, it's going straight down there. Now I just need to actually adjust it left or right, and I actually need to adjust it a little bit to my left, but otherwise I'd say that's about as good as I'm going to get it, without going down to any more, you know, fractions of a millimetre. After playing around with the fine adjustment just a tiny bit, I finally got it to line up pretty much straight. One other thing I should mention, when you are straightening it up, make sure that you actually be sure that you've actually got a square cut to start off with. There's no point getting that down the line if you're not making square cuts anyway. Or if you do start making square lines, the laser's not going to care. It just will not cut square. So make sure that you do that first. So the one thing I found, if you do need to reattach it, they do give you a little bit of extra backing tape, really nice strong stuff. But I found that just sort of wiggling it a tiny bit got me where I needed to go. Just attaching it a little bit off center was a better bet. So let's give it a shot. We'll see how it runs. So that's just a tiny bit offline, but certainly usable, and just a tiny bit more adjustment. We'll have a perfect cut.